Hello, my name is Bruno De Conti. I'm a professor of economics at the University of Campinas in Brazil, and my main research topics are related to the international economy, the most important one being the international monetary system. This lecture is entitled Facing Coronacrisis in Peripheral Countries, the Economic Policy and the Political Economy Constraints, and it's divided into 4 parts, the first one being Economic Package to Combat the Corona Crisis. As you know, we had very important economic stimulus packages worldwide. The estimations vary a lot, but the Bank of America made an estimation that it should have reached in 2020 something around $25 trillion divided into fiscal and monetary policies. But obviously the world is not flat and those policies are not homogeneously made or implemented worldwide. We have important difference between core countries and peripheral countries. Here we have some estimations by UNCTAD showing that for fiscal policies, for instance, in terms of their respective GDPs, the policies implemented in developed countries have been the double in average than the one in developing countries. And the same difference also for loans, for quantitative easing, and so on. When we go into the monetary policy, we see that for the basic interest rate, in advanced economies, we have currently something like 40% or 35 to 40% of the countries with zero or even negative interest rates, something around 40% with interest rates in between 0 and 1%. And for the emerging market and developing economies, this is the way the World Bank names this group, more than half of those countries still have interest rates higher than 3%. For the quantitative easing, the same. So the announced or completed purchases by the central banks of the countries in central countries and in peripheral countries is totally different, as you can see in the charts. Even though in peripheral countries, we see a lot of governments worried with the policies they are implementing and trying to say that this is really temporary policies. They are temporary policies, and as soon as possible they will come back to normality. So in Brazil, for instance, Paulo Guedes, the Minister of Economy, the whole year, last year, he was trying to say, well, in 2021, we will drastically reduce the public expenditures. We will come back to austerity. In Mexico, López Obrador, which is supposed to be a left-wing president, implemented austerity policy even during the pandemics, cutting public expenditures. In Ghana, the same. In order to compensate these expenditures related to COVID-19, they cut spendings in goods, services, and so on. For the monetary policy, the same. Here I have a paragraph I got from a report from the World Bank saying that, well, peripheral countries, many of them, they are also making stimulus through the monetary policy, but we have to be attentive because they are, first of all, less transparent than in the developed countries, and more than that, they are perceived to finance unsustainable fiscal deficits. So they are eroding, or they risk to erode, a hard-won central bank operational independence and de-anchor inflation expectations. So they are taken, these policies in the periphery of the world, they are taken as irresponsible. I don't know if it would be responsible to just let people die, not only by the COVID-19, but also by starvation. That is what is happening in the periphery of the world. Here we have also a box in the same report by the World Bank saying that, well, we run the risk in the periphery to come back to the period of a hyperinflation due to these irresponsible monetary policies. So what we see is that even during the most important challenge humanity is facing as a whole, I mean, it's a challenge for the whole world, we see very important differences between the conditions of core and peripheral countries to deal with the tragedies. UNCTAD, which is, by the way, one of the institutions which is claiming that even peripheral countries have to do anti-cyclical policies, but they say it comes as little surprise that developing countries have been more limited in mobilizing domestic fiscal resource to respond to the COVID-19 pandemic than developed economies, reflecting a dangerous global divide between the haves and the have-nots. And then my question here is that it should not come as little surprise. Why does it come as a little surprise? We tend to normalize it, but it should not be taken as normal. It's something constructed socially and economically constructed, and we have to search for the reasons why these countries have so different conditions or tools to face a common tragedy, which is the death of millions of persons worldwide. So we have to ask ourselves, why does it happen that policies are space policies so different in the different parts of the world? And I'll try to provide elements for this reflection in the following part. I hope to see you there. Thank you so much.